on the current events in Kenya, they are not very fine. Actually, in any government, that is priority number one, matters health, followed then other things come in. And of course, for these things to be fine, the economic health of everyone must also be top-notch. Now in Kenya, ask yourself, is everything fine? Of course, according to RUTO, everything is very fine. And we are moving towards Singapore and Malaysia. Now, this is a common narrative that is going around, and of course, it has become a joke of the year because everybody now is talking about Singapore. And whenever you refer to Singapore, people laugh. Do they laugh because they are happy? No. It is an absurd statement, actually trying to show how we are not doing well in the nation. Simply that. And that is why most Kenyans, when they hear the word Singapore or Malaysia, it becomes a moment of laughter. Not because they are happy, they are not happy. They are just laughing because it's an absurd statement. A whole president will walk around with it, fly with it, land with it, sleep with it, wake up with it, you know. So saddening, right? Of course. But it's Merry Christmas. I don't wish that you sulk. You shouldn't sulk or feel unhappy about the situation of Singapore and Malaysia, the common images that our president is using every day. Now, what I can ask you is this. KNH has become a problem. A lot of patients have gone through processes like tests, and they're waiting for, like, according to the news today, 500 people had tested, gone through tests, but the results were not coming out. And funny enough, the doctors and nurses who have gone through the process of care, they don't care anymore. Ask yourself why they don't care. They don't care because some of them went to nursing as a way to make money. Number two, some people went to nursing because they want to create their own hospitals and their own dispensaries. They know that when you are a doctor, as long as people know that you treat in a hospital, they can easily trust you and come to your place and you work away from work. That is why a lot of nurses actually do locums. Not that they are so proud about that job, but because they make a lot of money out of it. Now, a simple surgery can be 3,000 shillings. A major surgery is more than that. And most of the clinical officers do these things, including doctors. And of course, our country, Kenya, is one whereby you can have doctors who operate patients, even if they have not gone to any university or college anywhere. Now, it happens that at KNH, the queues that are lining up there to acquire services, they're just too much. But who cares? Of course, Duale comes out, speaks and says that no doctor can be paid if they are not, like if you go to an hospital and you get that a different doctor who is not allocated that hospital is serving, then they'll not be paid. Tell me if this is going to work. I doubt. Why do I doubt? I doubt because the doctors are not enough in these hospitals. And therefore, those who are considered to go for locums, maybe they work at Kenyatta Hospital, but they go to Nairobi Hospital. Some of them work at, let's say, Kakamega General, but they go at another one. They'll automatically be paid because it's a contract. When you are conducting a contract, you have terms. Now, when people are sick, it is not always necessary that they be treated. And they have no choice but to adhere to the conditions of a specific hospital. Even before you begin receiving, let's say consultation, what do? We begin by paying. Did you get that? Of course, when you're talking about SHA or whatever it is, maybe SHA may not be working because they'll restrict. But I don't think all hospitals will work with SHA. Of course, I've already experienced hospitals whereby I had even a patient yesterday, an emergency case, and they were only treated in a private hospital because a public hospital, the workers were very reluctant. Why should they care? They don't care. Most of them have gone for holidays, so those who are there, they don't care. They can do as much as they want or as less as they want. You get it? So KNH, by yesterday, 2 days to Christmas, according to news, there were so many patients who are queuing for services, but they are not receiving those services. Where did it begin raining on them? It began raining on them when our president indicated that all payments should be made through e-citizen. Guys, we don't disregard what we call transparency. But now, when you follow the payment of e-citizen, where did they end up? They end up in Sidian Bank, a bank that is owned by our own President RUTO. Okay? So the monopoly here, the fashionable. Of course, you had SIFUNA rejecting the fact that Sidian Bank, you remember? And of course, they were talking of these share things and other county funds through Nairobi County. Okay? So when you look at these matters of KNH, of course, you understand that the problems come out of monopoly. The aspect of monopoly is the one, and it is not monopoly natural. Someone is creating artificial monopoly because they feel they have power to control things in the nation. It is what it is. Of course, many of us have said that it will be good if our president will be there for 20 years, things will change. And in fact, he was the one saying it. When he was at Mukuru Kwanjenga, he said that if these houses have been constructed in the fewest days possible, what about if I'm there for 20 years? I'm like, can you bear with us? 20 years? Really? Okay, we are waiting for January. It's not far from now, right? It's just 6 days away. And by January 7th, most students will be at school. Of course, also the CBC will be beginning grade 10. And even though teachers have gone for retooling for 1 week does not make you a better teacher at all, at all. I have been a teacher for 12 years. And you cannot give me a seminar for 1 week to make me better than who I was. It can't. Away from that, do we have resources in schools to actually take care of these kids who are coming in with a new system? Like, how many schools have power all over the places? They have IT, their teachers have good phones which can be used in classes. We have even books. I've seen few books around for grade 10, but not all teachers might have all books and all subjects. So teachers are not even clear about what they are going to address. This is the state of our nation, by the way. Now, I'm happy that Waiguri, you remember Waiguri? Even though she had a saga, she has come up to announce that she's going to vie for presidential seat. So here, I think the people from Kirinyaga has thick skin. Because Mother Karua actually vied for presidential seat and she's still after it. Now, we are seeing Waiguri doing it. But I'm just wondering if this is another wheelbarrow. Why am I saying this? We have heard that RUTO is planting a lot of wheelbarrows. So that these wheelbarrows will make sure that Gachagua will not see the light of the day. I don't know whether you understand the same as I do. I can agree with that, because why would Waiguri want to vie for presidential seat when at the same point we are seeing Mother Karua doing it from the same end, Gachagua also doing it from the same end. They are trying to weaken themselves. So possibly Waiguri has decided to do this because it is the last second year of vying for the gubernatorial seat. So she knows she cannot again go vie for it. The only way to maintain herself in government is to actually acquire such a seat. Then she will be nominated in a way. Away from that, I think she wants to launch her party. People normally remain relevant politically by vying and launching parties. And once you launch a party, you can actually acquire a number of people voting for you. Then out of that, the government might consider you. I've talked too much. Anyway, the third reason why I see Waiguri vying is maybe that issue of the wheelbarrow. Waiguri might be actually because she's a wheelbarrow being used by the government. And again, she might be vying because she knows that since she was being supported fully on the mountain, maybe people will support her. And then she gets her way of shares. You know, it's Kenya. Kenyan politics is about shares. People go for shares. You like it or not, they go for shares. And we know that. We cannot argue against that. Okay? Yeah. Here, what are you saying? Bank security cam footage be like? Bank security cam footage, I don't know about that because I've not dealt with a bank or bank security. And then Kotor, you are saying resolution. What is VHQ++ 4K resolution? What exactly is that? So anyway, as we go into our discussion on Waiguru, and I want you to think about it, then decide, why do you think Waiguru is vying for presidential seat? Of course, SIFUNA has also talked about this thing, about ODM and the government. Why? What is SIFUNA saying? SIFUNA is saying that they cannot be pushed around. They are a party on their own as ODM, and therefore they cannot be pulled into the government as ODM party. There's nothing like what we call the broad-based government. On the other hand, we saw Oburu talking like 3 days ago. Oburu was saying that they are going to wait for rewards. So what is happening? Of course, clearly you can see that ODM is a donkey that has died. It has already gone through some death, sort of death. Okay? Yeah. Now, the other thing I was supposed to talk about is that we've seen Wambui, Senator Wambui came up and said that President Ruto should be happy that he has already ruled for 1 term. If Kenyans are millions and they have let him rule for 1 term, that he should be appreciative. And therefore, he should not be pushing for 2 terms. But let me ask you, which strategy is he and his allies using to maybe make this happen? Because we can see them holding their microphones, talking to us, addressing these matters, but we are not seeing the major solution. But remember, Kalonzo Musyoka is looking like a silent killer. He is working quietly, sometimes addressing the president, but he's actually on the ground with his team, Wavinya Ndeti, among others, making sure that he wins. Will he win? That's another question. I'll let you understand the answer. Now, why is SIFUNA just making a lot of noise but no move? Because a party does not remain alive if people are just talking, but they are not acting. Actions speak louder than words. That's what I know. So to give you the last impression of my political discussion today, I want you to check on SIFUNA, you check on Senator Wambui. I would also wish that you check on Waiguru as a possible candidate for presidential seat. And you also need to check on KNH, the current status of KNH. What does it define about us, Kenyans? Now, diversity is in Kenya. Several tribes, several people from different places. However, I don't like the way most leaders are using this, because they use that as a tool, or rather a weapon to fight, rather allow people to fight instead of unifying them and bringing these diversities together. Why would someone not believe that a Maasai would lead in Kenya? You should not just believe that the majority tribes are the ones to win. No wonder we have seen this year crooked behaviors such as registering people who are not supposed to be registered, not vetting, and all that. Because in Kenya, people believe that when you are a majority group, then you will easily win. And of course, they always laugh at Luyas and say they vote with their stomachs. Now, the Luyas, can you come out of the cocoon and define yourselves as people who don't vote with the stomach? At least the Kikuyus invest in politics. They do entrepreneurial voting. They vote because of the pocket. And you people, you vote with your stomach. Food has been brought. A blanket has been brought. I don't know, rice has been brought. Some fertilizer has been brought. And that is enough to make you actually decide who to choose. It's unfortunate anyway. These are very sad moments. We talk about politics in the country all the time. But I wish I had this receipt to bring out so that we have a very serious discussion on political situation. But anyway, we've done at least 14 minutes. And just to keep the channel alive, because it's unfortunate to let the channel lie idle all through. But we'll see what to do. With time, at least the videos will come back to the normal 1 hour, the way we've been doing, or we do various short videos to ensure that we be consistent and achieve our target. Bye-bye for now. Let's continue watching the political channels and also discussing matters out there. And be safe over this Christmas as we wait for the New Year 2026, hoping that it will be the best. That Singapore that has been talked to us and Malaysia will not just be a story, a narrative that is making us laugh. But at the end of the day, we cry because of the taxes imposed on our pay slips and a harsh life that you go through. As you wait for the year to come to the end, you wonder whether you have achieved anything. You know, a good country is supposed to have dreams achieved by many people. The more citizens grow, the better. But when you keep seeing things not happening the way you expect, it becomes so unfortunate. You even become disillusioned, and that is why you have so many mental cases in the country. People also going nuts because they are tired with the situation of life. So economic health is very important. Just as I started, I said this, and I'm ending with the same. Adios. Till next time, let's see more again.